This podcast has been brought to you by Voyager's World. We are building the most amazing hospitality network. Please visit our website, join us for free, and start participating.
Anna Renner.
Yeah.
You are my friend for about 3 years now.
Yeah.
Right? And
Exactly 3 years.
exactly 3 years. Yes.
It was May
Uh-huh.
and June.
Cool. So you have let's go directly to what I think is one of the most interesting things to talk about. But I want to start from what's the most boring about it.
Okay.
When you mention or when people figure out that you do that as part of what you do, you swim with sharks. I bet the same dumb questions come over every time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll try to not ask them.
Okay.
Okay. But I bet that if the same questions come up all the time, there are some things that you wish people actually wanted to know.
Yeah, true.
Right? And what is that? What it is that you wish people would actually be curious about, or that you wanted to tell them,
The sharks.
and they never ask.
Oh, I think they asked them, but
Mhm.
a little bit later. So what I wish that they would ask is if they are curious, if they are that they are not dumb animals, that they are quite intelligent, and all the the people have the picture in their mind from Jaws,
From movies,
from,
yes.
from movies,
Yeah.
from the media.
Sharknado.
Sharknado, yeah, from Sharknado. And even if many people think now that movies don't tell the truth, everybody believes it. I don't know why. So, yeah. It would be nice that if more people would be curious about swimming with sharks, not in cages, and that.
But why do they use cage? Simply by the fact that it's someone completely untrained there, or so they don't want to have the person have an accident or something, or is it because there is any danger from the shark? So why is the cage there?
The cage is because first people thought that sharks are dangerous, and it sells. So
it sells.
Yeah, it sells. So with the shark, you get with the shark and the cage, you can get pictures where the sharks comes very close, and you have a fish, a bait down there, and you pull the bait through the cage, and then you have like pictures where the mouth is open. So frightening stuff sells.
But then they will feel comfortable because they are inside a cage.
Yeah, sure.
They will not freak out that. Just like in the cities, people feel safer because they are behind bars.
Yeah. But it's not a natural behavior from the shark that you can see when you're in a cage or when there's bait.
Yeah. I think that people would be less biased regarding sharks and regarding a lot of other things, not necessarily by studying sharks, but if just by studying mathematics, because they would understand that every time they see on the news some news about sharks is because someone got bit by a shark, right? Somewhere in the world, anywhere in the world, someone gets bit by a shark. You'll see that on the internet, on the local news, on CNN, it's on Fox News, it's everywhere, right? But how many millions of shark encounters happen every day?
Millions,
encounters are very close
Yeah.
to encounters, and nothing happens.
Yeah, and even most people don't notice it.
Or people didn't even know that there was a shark right behind them, right? They notice later when they see the selfie and there's a shark right behind them. But I would say that even if you were completely ignorant about sharks and didn't know anything about their behavior, but you were not ignorant of the fact that the news that you get are a tiny percentage of only the things that go wrong,
Yeah.
you wouldn't pay that much attention. You wouldn't think that, oh, this is dangerous. No, and you have to put things in perspective. It's like lottery. You only see on the news when people win, you know, but you don't see the thousands, the millions of people that lose their money on lottery every week, right?
Yeah, sure.
So it's the same problem. I think it's a general ignorance of probability, and statistics. And then of course, if people were more curious about specifically sharks, you may remember that when you told me that that's what you were doing, I, because I already used to think like this, I wouldn't ask you a question like, is it dangerous? Because to me, that's a very dumb question. Oh, everything is dangerous. I ride motorcycles. The motorcycles are dangerous, right?
Even
But
more than getting bit by a
I would
shark.
say so. I had a close call yesterday, so I know I'm getting close to danger every time. There are trucks that are tons of you know kilograms and huge mass of metal and
Yeah.
plastic and hot fuel traveling just a meter away from you in the opposite direction in high speed. That all those things are killing. They're
Sure.
killing machines as much as a big shark, right?
Yeah, and millions of people die from traffic
Exactly.
accidents, and only
Exactly.
like 10 people die
Yeah.
from shark bites.
But when you told me about the shark thing, uh, I think the way I ask, because that's usually the way I ask, is how do you do that in a predictable manner? How do you make it predictable? Because that's the key, right? You understand you are dealing with with a wild animal, no matter if it is a shark, a monkey, a kangaroo, or a lion. Any wild animal carries a certain level of unpredictability. Even like you can have uh, an animal that, let's say you have a young tiger at home that you raised. The tiger is with you since it was this little, uh, and then one day he's playing with you, all right. But now he's 200 pounds, or 100, or let's say 200 kilograms, right? And he's just playing. He's not attacking you, but his arms are stronger than your legs at this point.
Yeah.
And he may play with you and do something that kills you, right? So there is a certain unpredictability because their power is so much different than ours, right? They move in ways that are different and they see the world in different ways. You may be dealing with a wild animal that is behaving okay, but then suddenly, let's say a car is driving by and the exhaust pops and that rattles the animal, and it just reacts, defending itself, and hurts you,
Yeah.
right? Things like this can happen. Now imagine, compound that with the fact that in water we don't move nearly as well as any marine animal moves, right? So the shark can do movement, can accelerate and move and turn, and it's heavy. It's a big thing, right? So
Yes,
just by doing its regular moves, not attacking you or not doing anything, it may slap you with one of its fins or something by accident. It may bump on you. Like people get hurt with dolphins because the dolphins bump on them. Yeah, but it's a bump from a dolphin can break your ribs and worse, right? So we are very delicate, in comparison. So I would say that even if you invite me, and you better do one day, you invite me to go, okay, let's go dive with a shark. I know that you have all the methods, you have the technique, right? Because you're still alive to tell me that. But I would still be apprehensive because I'm not as used to be in the water as you are. I don't move that well in water as you do, right? So I would be much more afraid of my diving skills than of the shark.
Maybe.
I would be amazed by the shark, but I don't think I would be afraid as long as we are following a method that I understand. Oh, so this is the technique, right? This is how you attract, and this is how you deal with it. You know, this is how you don't spook it, and things like that. Uh, but just because of the lack of experience with diving, I think I would be freaking out a little bit. But I think I ask in those terms, you know, like, do you have already a method? Do you have a system that you can go and do that in a predictable way?
Mm.
Is it like that with every kind of shark?
Yeah.
In everywhere?
Yeah. When I was on, like, when we met 3 years ago, I did this shark interaction course at the Bahamas with the PhD Erich Ritter. He's a shark behaviorist for more than 20 years now. And you go there, you learn in theory how sharks interact with each other and with humans, and then you go in the water, and then you can just use your knowledge of how the sharks interact to dive with them. And then you have also you have some guidelines how you can react when the shark comes closer, and you don't want the shark coming close. I want sharks coming close. So the one thing you always have to do is keep the sharks in your eyes. Like, never lose the shark. So you should never
never lose the shark.
Never lose the shark.
Okay. First rule of safety with the shark.
Yeah.
Don't lose the shark.
Don't lose the shark.
Okay.
So you should turn in the water for like 2 times in 1 minute. You should turn around so that you don't lose the shark, and you keep the shark in your sight, the shark who is the closest to you. So you just look at him, and they know that we are looking at them. It's we don't know how it works, how they know where our sight is going to, but they do know it. So when you have the shark in your sight and he comes closer, then he might just bump you a little bit because he has no arms. So he wants to check you out, and in his nose there are a lot of sensory organs. So he has to touch you to feel what you are, because probably he hasn't seen a human that close. So he would bump you, and you can just push him a little bit away, and then he would just turn and come back if he is curious enough. But when you move against a shark, like in front of a shark, and you move towards the shark, then he goes away, because they are very shy actually. And if you don't act like an animal that's hurt, if you don't act like a bait, then the shark thinks you are even a bigger predator than he is. So he's going away when you're coming. So the sharks are more afraid of humans than we are of them, actually. Yeah. And so yeah, you can you have a guideline how to react when a shark comes closer. And the main important thing is that you keep your legs straight and you move on on the surface, or you move vertical. No,
you stay kind of upright.
Yeah, you stay upright.
Okay.
And you don't move your legs too much, just the arms, and you turn and you keep the shark in your eyes.
Why not the legs? Because of vibration?
Yeah, because the sharks compare you to animals they know, and the tail of animals is always their motor. So it's where we go. And if a shark is try to catch an animal, he will bite in the tail, so that you can't move anymore. You can't swim away. Okay. So that's why he would probably bite you in the fins. But actually they don't. Like I saw a guy holding a shark on the fin because he wanted to swim with the shark, but he just grabbed the shark and he stood and he didn't move. So the shark had no chance to take the big human with him, and he was holding the shark, and it was moving like crazy to get away. And everybody thought, oh, now we have an accident. Like the shark turns and bites the human. And we all cried, let it go, stupid man. Whatever. And finally he let go of the shark. It was a female, and she swam away, turned, came back, and was calm as before. So if I would have been the shark, I would bite totally. If somebody grabs me and stops me,
or totally get away,
Yeah.
I don't want to be involved in
but
that.
don't come back and interact again and be completely calm and relaxed. So actually, sharks are...
Maybe they are like the blue fish on the movie Nemo, she left totally pissed off, then she forgot completely what happened and came back, hey, what's this? Hello. Maybe just bad memory.
Yeah. No, but
but is it in behavior, are they too different in different species? Like meeting a tiger shark or a big white, in that sense, it's going to be very different?
No. It's when you keep the basics in mind, then every shark is, from basics, it's the same. But you can have different characters. You can have a very shy shark, which stays far away and just keeps his distance. And then you have sharks, they are curious and they forget their fear and they come close and they interact with you. You want those sharks.
And and the idea that a shark will bite to check where you are.
Yeah.
He will do that. Why? Because of the way you are moving, or because you're looking too much like dinner to him, or what makes it get to that point?
We don't look like dinner. We just because they can see very good and they had a lot of time to get to know their dinner, and we are not here that long and we are not in the water that long that they could adapt to this. So what we are making is we're making the same sound, the unrhythmical sound of a herded animal on the surface. So the sound is mostly what attracts them. And then it's always a problem when there are fissures on the pier in the water, and there is the blood and the hormones of the herded fish on the from the fissures goes down, and you are swimming in this stream. So you have the sound from the herded animal on the surface, and you have the smell, the blood from the fish.
In you, yeah.
Yeah,
you
and
have
you're
this
swimming.
smell on you.
And then the shark approaches you, and he thinks like, oh, it smells like food. I can hear the sounds.
Yeah.
And then he comes closer, and if all those factors are good, then he might bite you. But it's a test bite, so he bites you, and after 1 second he let go. He would let go because he has like, how do you say it? He has tiny taste organs on top of his jaw, and he presses you or your arm on top of the jaw, and then he realized, oh, that's human, I don't like it.
I don't like this.
And then he would let go, but in this second we are afraid, of course, and we move away. And because his teeth are inside, in the inside direction.
They're inwards, right?
Yeah, they're
like
inwards. Then you would have a small incisions from the first bite, but when you pull, then you get cuts. a second injury, and this is often causing great bleedings from arteries, and then it might be that people bleed out, but not because the shark is eating them or is attacking them.
Yeah, but so now talking about that 1 in a million situation, right? The few cases, because I like surfing, I love the idea of surfing, and yeah, occasionally a surfer, has an encounter with a shark. But I wonder what it is on the way that a surfer moves. In the act of surfing and the act of being there and and paddling and and maneuvering around.
Yeah,
What it is on that behavior then that makes them the sharks so curious about it.
because the
That
paddling makes exactly the unrhythmical sounds from a herded animal on the surface. That's the main reason. And surfers are on the water a long period of time, and you have to realize that all beaches, all areas where we surf, they are in the main hunting area of a big animal. Like the coast is the hunting area of the sharks.
Yeah.
Because there the waves are breaking, and then there is a lot of oxygen. So there are a lot of algae, plankton, zooplankton, and then there are smaller fishes, bigger fishes, and in the end sharks. So I don't know. Would you go in to wherever in Africa and play golf with the lions? No, you wouldn't. That's what we are doing in the ocean. We are playing in the main hunting area of a predator.
Yeah. Oh, and some of the best beaches are right on top of reefs.
Yeah.
Right, which is a very rich area.
So the surfers, they are a long time in the water, on the surface of the water, and then there can be accidents. But there are only 2014 we had 8 fatal accidents with sharks, and 2015 I think it's a little bit over 10. But it's worldwide.
Yeah.
And I had a lecture last year at my university, a small speech, and I told them that we had only 8 accidents in worldwide with sharks, and in Tyrol, we are in Tyrol in Austria. In this year, in 3 months, July, August, and June, July, and August, there were 3 people killed by cows. So to compare it with a small, tiny country, we had 3 people in 3 months dead, and worldwide, on 1 year, we had 8 people dead by sharks.
Yeah, you have some mean cows here then.
Yeah, but only Germans got...
Germans get killed.
Yeah, only Germans get killed.
Yeah. You're German, right?
Yeah.
You're not Austrian, you're German.
But Innsbruck is the best city to study.
Yeah?
Yeah, it is.
The best city to study marine biology? What is the exact thing that you're studying?
I'm in the bachelor from biology, and then I will do the master in it's called behavior, cognition, neuronal biology. So it's a behavioral research study. So I don't study marine biology because I don't need to know everything about the marine ecosystem and about all the different kinds of algae and plankton.
It's too general then for you.
Yeah,
you can focus on sharks.
Yeah, no, not on sharks only, but I want to focus on the behavior research and what's going on in the bodies, in the minds, and how we react and interact.
Why sharks?
I got a book at the age of 7, 8, I don't know. It was a lexica for sharks, and I don't know, I fell in love with those animals. I always wanted to swim freely with sharks. That's what I told my parents.
Did you take that photo kissing a shark?
No, not
Not
yet.
yet?
No.
Okay.
But I can't do everything in my first shark encounter.
Yeah. So how many times did you actually dive with sharks?
I had 1 week at the Bahamas, then another day. So I had Caribbean reef sharks and lemon sharks and nurse sharks. I saw Longimanus sharks, the oceanic white-tip sharks. They're so beautiful. Like,
I think they're all very beautiful. They're Their design, their
Yeah.
design is pretty.
Yeah.
You know,
They are.
they're amazing animals.
When you have time to look at them and to see how they swim next to you, and you can't think of anything else because it's so impressive and beautiful.
Yeah.
And if you get the chance to actually swim close to a shark, you can see that he's looking you in the eyes, and there is something in the eyes. So when I look in your eyes, I see that there is a brain or something functioning, and it's not a dead eye like a lot of people think that's dead killer eye. So yeah, I saw great white sharks too last August. This is one of them. And this photo took a friend of mine. I was next to him when he took this photo. So he's smiling, right? I mean,
I guess.
I got a big smile.
I guess, yeah. Looks like a nice fella.
Yeah. And I was lucky to see blue sharks too. They're very sweet. Like they have big eyes, and the color of the eye is changing. Like you wouldn't think that. I didn't think that. I was surprised that they had green eyes, brown eyes, and blue eyes. And they're very curious. So when you are just staying in the water, and then you can be lucky that they come close, and they might touch you with their nose and turn around you.
So where did you travel to dive?
First, I was in the Bahamas.
First, yeah. That's when we met. Because you went to Florida first.
Yeah. Bahamas, Guadalupe, Mexico, and Azores.
In Azores?
Yeah.
And so at some point you're going to be a biologist, right?
Yeah.
Specialized in or expert in diving with sharks, right? And behavior of sharks. That's where you're going.
That's the plan.
All right. So if in 10 years from now someone needs a person with that qualification, how many are they? How many people are like this? Are you as rare as the shark encounters?
Maybe, yeah. I guess so. There are not a lot of them. I was lucky to make this course, to be at the course from Erich Ritter. He's one of the main shark behaviorists, and there are not a lot of them. Like you can count it on two hands probably.
Yeah.
But it's an important issue.
You can count on the fingers that are left over after all the sharks.
We still have all our fingers.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a very important issue to understand how the sharks interact, and that we can make people understand that it is not this killer that is here to eat us.
It's not an unpredictable killer. I think that every wild animal is a killer, but it's not an unpredictable killer. You know, usually he will only hurt you if you somehow either you invade its territory, you don't know its behavior, you don't know how it reacts to certain things, you know, and you go looking like dinner. Yeah. You know, then
when you're spearfishing and you don't want to lose your fish when a shark arrives, then you might get a bite. But it's predictable. So
yes, it's predictable. It's like sometimes people who are playing, you know, they get into the cage of some animal in the zoo and they get killed by that. And I think, come on, that was the most evident. It's the most evident thing in the world. Yeah. You have an animal, that wild animal that is there caged, not behaving naturally. Yeah. You know, and then they say, "Oh, the tiger went crazy." No, the tiger went tiger. You know, he didn't have to hunt for years since he was captured. Now suddenly there is game to play with. Of course he'll do it. You know, so. But even in the wild, you see people occasionally have accidents with all kinds of animals. Because they misunderstand the power that they have. We may be slow and fat and lazy, but the wild animals are not. No. They are lean, they are well prepared, they are ready to fight. It's like, imagine if you went out in the city and every person in the city was an MMA fighter. Every person. So everybody could just kill you by punching you in the right place. And they know how to do it. right? You would be a lot more careful with how you interact with people.
Probably.
All right. So if everybody was an MMA fighter and they all had guns, all at the same time, all of them, every man, woman, and children, right? You would be very careful at how you deal with people, right? If that was the case.
Yeah,
But in the wild, it's the same. They are all fighters,
that's true.
right? And they are all ready and they are armed, right? They all have guns. In the case of the shark, amazing teeth, right?
Yeah, but when
So, but their behavior is not crazy. They behave like a shark. The
yeah,
problem is that
they
you
don't
go
behave like humans.
exactly. The problem is that you go not knowing how they behave, or not aware that they are next to you and you're there paddling and worried about catching the wave. Sometimes people ask questions like, "Can we create a way that, like a suit that the shark cannot bite?"
Yeah,
All right. Well, do you
there
have any other brilliant ideas to share,
there are
or
some.
or a way to to repel the sharks? Which exists some technology like that.
Yeah,
But to me, it would be much better to develop to have a way, and maybe there is, to just detect if there are sharks nearby. If you are just warned that there are sharks nearby, you can just calmly, if you're uncomfortable with the presence of sharks, like I would be, you just calmly leave the area, right? If you're surfing, you take the next wave and go to the beach. Because I guarantee you, there was never a shark attack outside of the water,
no.
right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's
Never shark.
100%.
Yeah,
Right, so
no sharks attack.
only movies, no? Sharks come
Only
out of
in
tornadoes.
Sharknado, yeah.
Yeah, come out of
Then
tornadoes.
you need a chainsaw.
Yes. But, in my mind, if just like this one thing that just warns you,
Yeah, the thing is
You know?
that there are sharks in the area, but people don't care.
they don't care.
No. So they think, okay, I'm here, I want to go swim, I want to have fun in the water,
Mhm.
and they don't want to realize that it's the main hunting area of the sharks.
Mhm.
So we always are next to sharks, but they don't like to eat us. We don't taste good,
Mhm.
so
Not even vegans?
not even vegans.
No?
I'm sorry, no. No. So, as you said, if all people had guns and all sharks have sharp teeth, we can be lucky that sharks don't act like humans,
Yeah,
because otherwise we couldn't go in the water.
yeah. No, all animals, no, barracudas can be incredibly damaging.
I was once
Yeah.
followed by a barracuda.
Yeah,
It was,
and if you, I got hit by I touched hit by hit. I mean, slightly touched by a jellyfish, and it was one of the most difficult days of my life.
yeah.
The nausea, I got out of the water. It hurt a lot, and I got out of the water feeling weird, really weird. Not dizzy. It was different.
Okay.
Just feeling really weird. And I talked to a lifeguard, and he said, and there was like just a little red, not not a mark. It was just a little redness on my knee. And he said, "Oh, you probably touch a jellyfish, so you're going to you're feeling it hurts, like it's burning." I say, "Yeah." So he said, "Okay, the kind of jellyfish that we have here on this beach, what will happen is that it will keep burning like this. He said there's a toxin that is now on your skin." He explained to me. So he said, "It's going to keep burning. You can go to the pharmacy and buy." He told me the name of something. It was going to alleviate that pain a little bit. He said, "But the problem is that your body will process the toxin now, and you're going to puke." He said, "You're going to lose your dinner very soon. You have a headache." He said, "Just lay down. It will take 4, 5, 6 hours, and then you'll be back. You'll be back to normal." But he warned me that because that toxin causes some changes in you, or you become more sensitive to it.
Mm.
So he told me that if I am hit by the same kind of jellyfish again, the reaction will be much faster and worse. So I have to find different jellyfish next time. Right? I don't know. I don't know what's the idea. But I'm much more afraid of jellyfish.
Yeah.
Than anything else.
Yeah, and if we go on like we do right now, that we are killing more than 100 million sharks each year, then very soon, or probably now, we have more jellyfish in the water.
Yeah.
So jellyfish and what do you call them? Squids.
And squids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We will have a lot of them, and the shark population will be erased very soon if we go on, and that would be very, very bad, because the shark ecosystem is no, not the shark ecosystem, in the end of the food chain there are the sharks.
Yeah, they're on the top of the food chain,
they are
right?
on the top, and if you kill all sharks, then the food chain collapses, and then it goes down, all the way down to the algae, and then they collapse too. So what will be probably that there won't be any algae left, and they are producing more than, or about 50 to 70% from our oxygen, not the rainforests, and then we have no food, no fish to eat, and we don't have anything to breathe left.
But we can surf without being disturbed.
We can surf, yeah. But then you have a lot of jellyfish there, so
more jellyfish.
Yeah, you should use a suit, a wetsuit to
surf.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I go to the beach, I consider swimming, and I'm not a great swimmer. I don't swim to go anywhere. I swim to not drown.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you saw it.
About that.
Shut up. Okay. I swim to just not drown. But I enjoy it. But when I go to the beach, I go like, oh shit, what if there is a jellyfish here? I am afraid of it now.
Yeah, but you're not used to it. I mean, you go out with your bike all the time and you don't think about it.
Yeah.
But if you would...
No, but with the motorcycle, I'm facing dangers, but I'm facing dangers that I set out to face them. I get out of the house with that intention of dealing with it. I don't get out of the house with the intention of dealing with jellyfish.
But you can do.
Yeah.
You should go.
So we are back to motorcycles. So you have a Triumph
Speed Triple.
Speed Triple.
Yes.
Yeah. When you went to Miami, and I saw your profile, I don't remember if it was on Couchsurfing or on Facebook that I saw that you ride that bike. So what I did, I Googled, to see what kind of bike it is. I thought, oh, this bike is faster than the one that I have. At that time, I had a Ninja 600, right? So I thought, okay, she's used to ride a bike that is more powerful than the one I have. And then I decided, okay, just give you the key and let you go out and play with it.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. So where did you go?
First in the city. I had an encounter with a policeman because I turned on the street and was like, oh shit.
Did a wrong turn?
Yeah, but he was very friendly. And we ended up chatting a little bit because I told him I'm from Germany and I'm sorry that I do something wrong. But no, it's okay. Just go. And then I went to the Keys, like not all the way down to the Keys.
You went to Key Biscayne?
Yeah. To Key Biscayne. And I was a little bit afraid that I wouldn't find the way, but it was very easy to go there. And then, just...
you had to pay $1.50 on the toll?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to pay.
Yeah.
And then there was
It's a beautiful ride. Huh?
Yeah.
Beautiful area.
the ride is nice.
Yeah.
And then you have the beach,
Mhm.
a lot of tourists. So
Mhm.
yeah, but the main thing was riding the bike in a different city, in a different country.
In a different country.
Yeah.
And you are used to riding with a helmet here all the time. And
Yeah.
over there you were not.
I had a
How was that for you?
I had a protecting sunglass.
Very protective.
Yeah, that was very good.
Yeah.
No, it was different.
I love the experience. I love riding slow, just riding the city. I love riding without.
Yeah, for me it was very nice to feel everything, to be aware of everything.
Mhm.
Because when you have a helmet and you have your leather combi, then you're
Mhm.
you're not as there as you are when you have no helmet.
Not
Yeah.
No, you had a t-shirt, shorts, and
Yeah, I had shorts and
yeah. I think that riding unprotected makes you safer because you are so much more in tune
Yeah.
with the experience. You feel, you don't even hear, you feel every car that is
Yeah.
approaching you. You have the possibility of being much more aware of everything, and that is a little factor of fear
Yeah, that's
added all the
that's the thing.
time, and that fear can avoid an accident. So I have a theory that so far I found no way of demonstrating with any scientific rigor,
Yeah.
but I believe it as far as it's possible.
Yeah.
That uh, that the equipment, the safety equipment, protect you from an accident that it helps create.
Sometimes, yeah.
Because you're much more protected, you get more confident.
Yeah, that's
There is a extra confidence. In fact, a lot more confidence because you're, and also that is comfort. You don't feel the wind nearly as much.
Yeah.
Right. So
and it's so sad because it's,
and then when you are riding totally exposed, you are very aware, very careful, because you can never, you can, there is no possible way to not be aware that you are very exposed. Especially if you already had some accident before, you know how it hurts. That memory comes back, and so I believe that being unprotected helps you avoid the accidents and ride slower and be more careful and all that. Of course, there are other factors like the other drivers and all that, and the violence of high speed. There is this little joke. What is the difference between torque and speed? So speed is how fast you hit the wall. Torque is how far you take the wall with you, right?
Yeah.
Both count.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have an accident and if it is in any significant speed, you will hurt for sure.
Yeah.
The safety gear will determine how you hurt. It may
better.
improve. It may improve certain things here
It
and
will
there,
improve
or at
certain
least you'll keep things together.
If your leg is gone by the ground,
if
slowly,
it's grounded, yes.
No.
Oh, and you were an EMT too.
Yeah, I was.
Right? EMT, emergency medical, emergency medical technician. How long were you an EMT?
I talked with paramedics with
about the name, about the term, right?
Yeah.
How do you call it in German?
We are a German version of a paramedic.
Uh-huh.
We are not EMTs. Or I'm not an EMT. I'm between the paramedic and an EMT.
Okay.
So I am allowed to do invasive techniques, but I'm not that advanced than paramedics. That would be great. So you have, let's say, you have more training, or you are capable of doing some things that even EMTs don't do. Yeah. I'm first responder, which is even below EMT. It's like first responder is just the guy that showed up first. That is a first responder. It's the first guy that shows up and calls the ambulance. And maybe tells people, don't touch the guy, leave him alone, that it will not only make you worse. So how long did you act as how do you call it? You don't call it EMT, so how do you call it? Rettungsassistent.
Fuck it. That's AMT.
Yeah. No,
Um,
call me German paramedic.
German paramedic. Okay.
That's better.
Okay. So how long did you do that?
I did it for 2 years.
Mhm.
I went to school. Then I had 1 year of internship where I learned, but I was out with real paramedics. And then I was in my hometown, and I worked there for another year. And now I'm studying in biology. So in my vacation time, I go back and work as a paramedic again because I really love it.
Yeah.
And I need the money.
And it pays. I bet it pays well.
No, not that good.
No?
All healthcare teaching stuff, it's not well paid. We would have to work with computers or manage something, then it would be better. But it's not bad. I mean, it's good enough for.
Did you have, especially diving, I imagine, did you have, or motorcycles, any situation that you had to use it outside of work?
Yeah.
That you acted as paramedic? Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you.
That you acted as paramedic?
Yeah, I had a bunch of incidents where I had to act. Like one time only on the street, there was a guy in a car, an old man sleeping or unconscious. I had people in the airplane, actually, 3 people in one airplane.
3 people? What happened to them?
One got unconscious. I thought I had to do CPR in the airplane, but she came back. And then 2 other people collapsed. I had to deal with them.
3 people collapsed in the same flight?
Yeah, and the first was right in front of me, so I saw it and I'm like, "Hi, I'm German paramedic." I said German paramedic.
You said like that?
Said, yeah.
I'm a German paramedic.
Yeah.
Probably the flight attendant said, and I am an American flight attendant. So go back to your seat.
No, she was very happy that I was there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And they brought me some gear. And
I bet they have good equipment there.
Yeah, they are like small hospitals or like EMT or paramedic cars. They have everything. They have medication, intubation, infusions.
In the other case?
We had one. I had 2 accidents while we were diving. One was on a boat. He, just lost it down, and I saw his eyes popping out because of the pressure.
What do you mean popping out?
Like you see it in the movie when the eyeballs are out, like they're popping out.
They come out.
Yeah, because when you go down and you don't do the pressure equalization, then you have the air is getting pressed. Yeah. So the eyes are popping out because there's a, how you say it, under pressure.
Yeah, that there will be a vacuum.
Yeah, vacuum
in the mask.
Yeah, in the mask.
So he would have to. Yeah, you take the mask out.
No, you just have to breathe a little bit through the nose, then you get air in the mask, and then the vacuum goes away. But he didn't do it because he was a little bit dizzy and had headache and stuff like that. And then, you shouldn't dive when you don't feel good. And we had one accident recently where we had to do CPR because a diver got unconscious underwater. But we were quite lucky; we got him back, and he's fine.
So you literally, so he drowned. Yeah.
Kind of. He lost consciousness underwater, and then he didn't breathe. So we were quite fast in bringing him out of the water, and he had no pulse, no breathing. So we started CPR, and it was a very good teamwork because some of us started the CPR, and the other one called the ambulance, and other ones took something to ride and helped getting stuff, getting towels and things to warm him. And Yeah,
Okay.
we were lucky. We had him back before the ambulance arrived.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Good job.
yeah.
Good job.
So I was happy before that I did this education and that I was able to work as a German paramedic.
Yeah.
But I'm much more happier now that I have the knowledge and
Yeah.
I have the confidence for myself that I know that I can do something.
Yeah.
Maybe not everything when I don't have my year, sure, but that I'm not afraid of doing anything.
Cool. A friend of mine, he's a firefighter in France, and I don't know how this came up on the conversation, but at some point we're talking. I think we were talking about jobs and no jobs. 'Cause I always question a lot, the value of having a job. And in his case, he was very happy, and I asked how he measured that, and he explained that with some jobs, you can work a lot on something, on a project, and maybe you see the reward later because you see the numbers or you reach a goal or things like that. And he said, but in my job as a firefighter, I see the reward the same day. It's like I go somewhere, I save someone or I fix something, and I see the relief or the happiness.
Same as a paramedic.
Yeah, I see it the same day. So it's like that major reward of the pride or the satisfaction of doing the job is immediate. And he said it's very difficult to find any other work that, well, maybe as a German paramedic you can.
And as a paramedic.
But yeah, there are very few lines of work that have that,
Because you were there and you did what you did.
Mm-hmm.
It went good.
Yeah. That's really cool.
But what you said before about helmets, I read an article about helmets in the military. That they are easily that a bullet from a bigger rifle can easily go through.
Yeah.
But they give them anyway to soldiers because it makes them more confident in themselves.
Yeah, no, but on the helmet, on the military helmet, I talked to a guy that he's a ranger, and the rangers don't use the Kevlar helmet; they use bicycle helmets.
Okay.
Those hard shell bicycle helmets. Yeah. And I asked why. He said, "Oh, the Kevlar." He said the soldiers that have the regular army, that have the Kevlar, it's not to protect them from bullets, because that would be hopeless. Bullets go through. Yeah. He said, but when you are in combat, or even during regular operations, there is a lot of things that fly.
Okay.
Not just bullets. A bullet hits a wall, pieces of the wall will fly into you, and they will get into your skull. But with the helmet, it protects you. So it protects from a lot of minor accidents, especially in combat. Because every bullet hits something, that means parts, pieces of metal, all kinds of things will, and that's why they use goggles. They use combat goggles that is also super hard plastic, acrylic, or whatever they call it, right? So to protect their eyes, and then he told that the rangers decide to use the bicycle helmets because they need more mobility. They have to climb and jump and run. They need a lot more mobility, so they wanted a helmet that would at least protect them from concussion. So because they have more mobility and they jump more and run more, so they fall more and hit something, and they realized that the bicycle helmet was very adequate for them. But yeah, nobody in the military wears a helmet to protect from bullets. That's fantasy now. Yeah. But the same on the motorcycle. The helmet has several benefits that are not related to safety. For example, one thing that I need to deal with a lot with this helmet that I have here is the wind noise. I need to wear earplugs because this helmet is just the edge of the helmet is just above the ear.
Okay.
And then there is the strap on top. That creates a wind tunnel, a tiny wind tunnel right in front of my ears. And the noise is horrible.
Yeah.
You know, it was the cheapest helmet that I found in June 2011 when I was waiting for my bike and I just wanted to buy anything that the Europeans would be okay with, right? Because I had better helmets back in America, but they were either full face helmets that I didn't want to use during summer, or they were the tiny little, like half a peanut helmet that they wear there, which here would be non-compliant and the cops would stop me.
Sure.
Yeah. So I bought whatever I found, right, cheap on the store, and it's nice. It's light enough. It's okay. It's fine. But so there are other benefits. A good helmet will cover this with the right material that will dampen the noise of wind. Also, it will, if it is correctly designed, it will be aerodynamic enough that it doesn't push your head when you're looking sideways. So you are in high speed and you're looking one direction, and you don't have that effect that it does like this. You don't want that.
And it protects you from aspirating flies. Like when you're...
Well, which is good for vegans, because you don't want to eat animal protein. But it protects you also from a lot of flying things. Yeah. I got hit really bad once by a bee. Yeah. I hit around... I was probably doing around 75 miles, which is 130, 135 in kilometers, and I hit the bee, and the bee was flying in the same direction, so I hit the back end of the bee first. So not just I had that impact, that punch of getting hit by a bee, but I got the sting too, right here.
Good work.
Yeah, that was not a good moment. But I got hit by a little, how do you say, you have the screw and you have the bolt, but a little bolt. So probably was on the road, a car went by, hit the bolt, and it hit me in high speed, and that gave me a big bruise for days. So the helmet will protect you from that kind of thing. When I go on highways, yes, I always wear a helmet. And I like either than the full face or at least the one that has the acrylic that goes all the way here. So if something hits me like below my mouth, it's not that bad.
And if you hit the ground, then only your jaw.
I don't need the jaw. It's not
you can
essential.
Get infusion food.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. But yes, and I had an accident once, and I had gear. But what caused the accident was not the gear, of course. What caused the accident was the lack of experience and my stupidity at that time about how to ride a motorcycle. And safety is a result of everything together. It's the equipment, it's the kind of motorcycle, the technology that it has, the kind of brakes, your attitude, the way you drive, right? How fast you go, what kind of decisions you take. All that is part of this big equation that ends up being safety, right? Of course I have friends that they ride with the full astronaut gear and they put all this protection on that, but they drive like assholes. They're exposing themselves to much more risk than I do. So what's the advantage? They're canceling out the advantage of having better gear by having a bad attitude about riding. And the attitude even means that some days you decide not to ride because you don't feel that you are up for it. That you are, sometimes you don't feel that everything is there, that you need. Also, every time that I get on the bike, I think consciously. I have a ritual that I think I only need to make one big mistake, and this will be the last ride. and I think about it.
People don't do that.
No, they don't. So I'm always conscious. I just need to make one big mistake, or a combination of several small ones.
Yeah, or somebody else.
Yeah,
makes
or somebody.
mistake.
Yeah, but that I don't have any control. So that I don't worry about what I don't control. You know, yeah, one day a meteorite may hit me. One day, a coconut. You know, I may be running under the coconut trees and get hit. You know, so people get killed by flying mailboxes. You know, like I was hearing the other day. So there are all kinds of random things that can happen. But there are some things that you can participate at least. You don't control, but you participate. You participate on your riding style. You participate on how you protect yourself. And protect yourself is not necessarily by covering yourself. Sometimes you protect yourself by becoming more aware of what's going on. That's part of safety. Yeah, sure. You know, so it's all together. And then of course, if you are going to hit something in high speed, if that comes to that point, then you have some safety gear, you know, you have some protection. Yeah, of course, it's going to help.
It's always better to have it.
Yeah,
but better to don't be in an accident.
I prefer to put more energy at this point. I prefer to put more of my energy into avoiding getting to that situation. Yeah. You know, and I think that it's a better use of my focus.
Yeah, the protection is done for accidents they are caused by other people.
Also, yeah, exactly. So, and then, you know, I took a decision this year, for example, that my jacket is a little bit dated and I need a new one, and you know, and I'm riding jeans, so I thought, you know what, I think it's time to spend the money and get a better jacket that has some padding, you know, and better air ventilation and things like that. So I decided to spend the money, and during the summer I'm going to get a jacket, you know, and better riding pants and things like that. And in Europe, I don't have a choice. I have to wear a helmet, right, all the time. But yeah, if I am in Miami and I'm going to the beach, yes, I'll wear t-shirt, shorts, sunglasses. That's important.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, and underwear. And
some shoes?
Probably. Yeah. Probably.
It's better with the pedals.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit when you stop in hot asphalt, and you need to stop for a moment, and you go like, ooh. Actually, sometimes people say, "Wow, but why why do you put the sunglasses?" Yeah, but the sunglasses, if you go over 35 without sunglasses, it's going to hurt every time. It's not a matter of possibility. It's going to hurt right now, you know, because your eyelids start to fold in, you know, it's and you get all kind of dust and any bug. Imagine you can hit the air is not clean. The air is not empty, right? It's full of little bugs and things that are falling and particles from the trucks. One easy way to measure how much that is when you get after a long ride, uh, if you don't have it, ask someone that has it. Makeup remover. Get the makeup remover and clean your face before you wash it, and you see that is diesel particles and bugs, you know, and dust and all that. All that stuff gets on your skin, but it also gets on your eyes, you know. And if you are doing 50, 60, you know, well, you cannot really get to that speed without sunglasses. But even at 30, okay.
What is it in
56? That'll be like 80, 90.
I was driving 100.
Yeah. But if at that speed, you hit, let's say you hit a B, right in your eye, okay, you are going to turn into a new paradigm, which is U plus B. Yeah. Okay.
Would be nice.
You become a new kind of creature. It's U plus B.
You think I could fly then? That would be great.
You transform very gradually. Yeah, like in the movie.
Yeah, no,
And we are drinking, what's the name of this beer?
Tegernsee Spezial.
Where's that from?
Tegernsee. It's in
Tegernsee.
close to, let's see, an hour from my home. It's very good. Great Bavarian beer.
Yeah, it's very good. I'll not dare criticize a beer.
Don't do it.
From a girl that swims with sharks. You know. By the way, do you know why when people put their outdoor diving gear, do you know why they fall back in the water?
That they don't see the sharks?
No. It's because if they fall forward, they'll still be in the boat.
Good job.
So what's next?
What's
in
next?
My life? Yes.
In my life?
Finishing school soon.
Finishing the bachelor.
How long? How much more?
1 year.
Another year?
Yeah. And then probably going to Vienna for my master thesis.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully working with sharks in between.
Mm-hmm.
With Erich.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. Riding my
motorbike,
running in the mountains.
One thing about being in a field that has so few people is that there are very few places where you can work directly on this, right?
We can work everywhere.
No, I know, but place by place I mean businesses. You know, I wonder if the movie industry is at all interested in that. Not on the movie production side, but on the script writing side of it. Because sooner or later there will be a movie or a documentary that tries to be serious about it. That just like there are some movies that are trying to get much closer to what the science is about space. You see The Martian was much closer to real science than any sci-fi before. It's still not 100%, but it's very close. So I bet that at some point people, they're putting the script together and say, oh, this part that we do about the sharks, let's check if this is how it is in reality, and they will need a professional like you.
Yeah, there are some shark movies already. You heard about Shark Water, maybe? It's with Rob Stewart. He made a film about sharks and how thousands or millions of sharks are killed each year, and how to open the eyes from people and make them see what's going on underneath the sea or underneath the surface. So yeah, there are a couple of documentaries or this movie which shows sharks in the way they really are. And if you look up the website from Erich Ritter, it's sharkschool.com. You can learn everything you need to know for a shark encounter. And if you wait, I don't know, hopefully 3 or 4 years, then you can come to me and book a course and we go swim with sharks together.
No. Yeah. What about no? The idea is exactly the opposite. In 2 or 3 years, you can come to my boat because I'll be sailing, going to places where there are sharks, like in who knows where. Everywhere. I'll be sailing too. Okay. And then you bring your gear, and you can dive.
We're going free diving.
And you bring your gear. You can bring your students. Yeah, you can bring your gear and your students.
That's a deal.
And I will cook pasta for everybody.
Pasta for everybody. Okay.
All right.
I like that.
I like that idea. No, yeah, I really have I'm not talking about it much yet, especially not in video. But yes, I have a project of building a boat. So in near future, by near future I mean another year, 2, maybe 3, I'll be putting together a boat. So, and there will be a very spacious platform for diving in the back, and space to put the tanks and the fins and the sharks and whatever is left of the divers after the thing. And
keep me updated.
I will.
That sounds awesome.
All right. Well, I think you are quite a character. You are a biker and a diver, shark diver. Sounds so weird to say this, and it doesn't sound right. Shark diver.
Yeah, I'm a super predator diver.
You are a student of sharks. how would you say that? If you just say dives with sharks, people tend to have the extreme sports version of it, right? Which is not it. You're not there just for thrills.
No.
You are there
No.
for learning, for experience. You know, that is something more behind it. We'll come up with a name for that.
Yeah, learning how to interact with
Yeah.
sharks
Yes.
and in the water.
You're a shark student, maybe, you know, something like that. But you know, but in other words, you dive with sharks,
Yeah.
and then and a motorcycle rider,
Yeah.
and traveler,
And traveler.
and climber,
And climber.
and climber.
Yeah.
You're not a climber. You're a monkey. I told you. You go up the things and you just hang out. So that is a monkey.
Yeah, it's in our nature to be a monkey.
And you're
In mine.
and you're a German paramedic.
Yes, I am.
All right. Look, it's a privilege to have met you, and you're welcome. Wherever I am, it's home for you. Okay. And
you're at my home right now.
I am at you.
Happy to.
In fact, she couchsurfed with me in Miami, and now I'm couchsurfing at her place.
But you didn't
And
send me a message.
I'll put a photo. Yes, I didn't send a couch request.
I didn't accept you.
I'll be talking to you about the website that I'm building about it.
Okay.
And so yeah, we are 4 people staying at her place.
A little bit
I'll
crowded,
I'll
but
post
that's
one
fine.
photo later. The entire floor is covered with mattresses and gear and equipment because we are riding 2 motorcycles and we are 4 people in 2 motorcycles. And when we arrived, it was a hard rain, so everything was wet. We have stuff everywhere.
That's true.
Yeah, and among all this craziness, we found time to do this podcast. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure having you.
It was, yeah.
I hope you like this podcast as much as we like to produce it. This has been made possible by the efforts of dozens of volunteers, supporters, partners, and visionaries that are helping us build Voyager's World. Please visit our website, join us for free, and start participating.